Good morning, all. Uh, Today, in disaster management, one of the important aspect or factors which are affecting our the more intensity of disaster is pollution. Okay, one of the key aspect of is knowing about pollution, studying about pollution. So there are various types of pollution. Cardinally, we are more concerned about pollution related to air, soil, and water. These are the basic elements from the earth that we receive, and we utilize it as a resource where the rest of the activities, human activities, are based on. So, predominantly studying about or learning about air pollution, soil pollution, or water pollution, we will able to understand the the actual phenomena, the process which goes under the such rise in the intensity and the magnitude of various disasters that has been affecting us, or hazards that have been converting into disasters. So let's begin with this chapter. So what are the various sources, types of air pollution? Let's talk about first. So types, source, effects, and control of air pollution. So we will know about, first of all, what are the various types of air pollution, sources, what are the various sources, then affects, how does it affect the various aspects of living, as well as our working day to day life, right? And how do we control air pollution, from further making it a worse situation. Air pollution is a change in physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of air that has an adverse effect on human and other organisms, or other carbon based organisms, whether it's plant, whether it's animal. uh, they will, some or some other way, they will be affected by pollutants which is there in the air. So it is basically the physical change, physically in the air quality, the air which is changing, the chemical change, the biological factors in the air which is changing, will have an adverse effect on human life, of course, and our other organisms as well. All right. So the ultimate result is the change in the natural environment or an ecosystem. It will affect the environment around you and the ecosystem. The substance that are responsible for you causing air pollution are called air pollutants. Okay. So these air pollutants are it can be synthesized, or it can be naturally existing, like wildfire, which gives out carbon dioxide or carbon soot into the air, um, or dust storm, dust particles which is there in the air. They are natural sources of air pollutants. uh, then there are synthetic sources of air pollutants, where gases coming out from industrial sectors, from your vehicles, from your household activities. These gases, when goes into air, they are also becoming part of the pollutant. Okay. So pollutants can be either liquid, or it can be in gaseous elements, or solid elements, like dust particles. Being a solid, it is still a pollutant. Similarly, liquid, like liquid particulates in the air, that is also a pollutant. And gases, harmful gases, like gases like sulfur and nitrogen basis gases, they are also harmful, as when it mixes with water, it can cause damage to any organic matter on the earth, right? So the types of pollutants that is there in the air are: an air pollutant known as a substance in the air that can cause harm to human and environment life, right? So pollutants can be in the form of solid particulates, liquid droplets, or gases. They may be natural or man-made, and the pollutants can be classified as either primary or secondary pollutants. Usually, primary pollutants are substance directly emitted from a process, okay, that is primary pollutant, such as ash from volcanic eruption. So it is a primary pollutant because volcanic eruption is a natural phenomena. It is a phenomena which is happening on the earth naturally. So it is a primary source of pollutant in the air. Carbon monoxide gases from motor vehicles are, and sulfur dioxide released from factories and machineries are secondary pollutant, means they are pollutants which is caused by human activities. Any pollutant which is released due to human activity into the atmosphere are the secondary source of pollutants. Okay, so they form in the air, and when primary pollutant reacts or interacts. An important example of pollutant is that uh, ground level ozone increase. The ozone gases, although it is non-reactive gases, but the rise and the increase of the ozone gas in the layer will automatically affect the balance of other gases, presence of the gases in the atmosphere, right? So ozone layer has nothing, no place in the ground level, at the ground level. So one of the secondary pollutant that makes this photochemical smog is because of this. All right. Now, natural and or anthropogenic or man-made pollutants. Natural pollutants are volcanic eruptions, forest fire, dust storms. I've told you. Then spores coming out from plants and fungi, bacteria, and microorganisms. Man-made or anthropogenic pollutants are industrial pollutants, thermal power plant, automobile exhaust, fossil fuel burning, mining, nuclear explosion. They are all part of secondary pollutants. So, as I've told you, anything which is dealing with human activity and it contributing to, air, in disbalance in physical and chemical and biological property of air, that is a secondary pollutant. Okay. Now, stationary and mobile. So the point source is like a large stationary sources can be point source, that there can be one point stationary uh, pollutant, and mobile pollutant is which keeps on changing its roots, its origin. So they are either stationary or mobile. So air toxin emissions from on-road mobile, sources like vehicles, whether fossil fuel vehicles are. So have heavy duty gasoline vehicles, that is petrol, 14%. So heavy duty diesel vehicle are 10%. Other small vehicles are 2%. Light duty gasoline trucks, SUVs, and minivans that we use, nowadays, like big cars, the 4x4 cars, they are SUVs, and they contribute to about 44%, quite a large ratio if you see, right? So a light duty gasoline cars, that is a domestic cars that we use day to day purposes, that is also participating on a quite a large amount of contribution of toxins into the air, that is 30% almost. So 30 and 44%, so it is almost close to how much, almost 74%. So imagine 7 out of 100, 74% of the contribution of toxic emission is coming out from the vehicles that we are using at a personal level. So it is always suggested that one must either take an option of carpooling, or uh, taking public transport. Taking public transport will reduce the number of if more and more people going for public transport, it will reduce the use of private cars, and SUVs. Hence, it will reduce the emission also. So it is always recommended. Like I will come for the recommendations there later, but I want to just put you in your mind that it is not the big trucks and the heavy duty mini trucks which is moving out heavy stuffs around your city is contributing to pollutants. They are hardly like heavy duty gasoline car trucks are 14%, and heavy duty diesel vehicles are like trucks and mini trucks are 10%. So they are together are contributing to only 25% in place of 74%. And other small vehicles like you have motorbikes and everything are contributing to 2%. So the toxic weighted here are more coming from your personal use of vehicles. Then substance dwelling temporary or permanently in air alter the environment and interfering with the health and comfort living or also food chain. And it also interfere with the proper value for life, proper healthy life. Like what happens in Delhi in every winter, the pollutants, not only because of the burning of the agricultural field, it contributes to smogging, but the industrial sectors around this city is contributing to quite a lot of pollutants in the air, and hence the city is facing smog like condition. And even living one day in the city of Delhi is the study suggests that is equivalent to smoking about a packet of cigarette. So one day living in a Delhi city is equivalent to living in a smoking a pack of cigarette. So imagine that it is a harmful substance to be consumed. So it is harming your lungs. So even this passively when you're taking in the pollutants, it is harming your lungs. It is harming your health qualities. So the pollutant can be either solids, or it can be liquid, or at a molecular level or gaseous. It may originate from natural and anthropogenic sources. And basically anthropogenic sources have changed the composition of global air by less than 0.01%. So even a small change can have a very adverse effect on the climate, ecosystem and the species on the planet. So imagine we have the anthropogenic sources of pollutant has only contributed to 0.01% of pollutant global composition of the pollutant in the air. But if you see, even 0.1% has caused such a devastating loss to our environment and climate change. And and also losses of many species. There are many species which is we have lost or have gone extinct due to air pollutants. All right. um, then we have classification of pollutants, that is from primary and secondary classification. So I have told you primary classification of pollutants are the primary sources, and the secondary classification of the pollutants are the secondary sources, that is the man-made sources. Major primary pollutants include particular matters like sulfur dioxide, then you have nitrogen dioxide, then organic compound, volatile organic compound, carbon monoxide, and lead. By using cars in the fossil fuel, they are to increase their efficiency, they are induced with lead based gasolines into the car. So when you burn them, these lead being a heavy metal is suspended in the air, and it is there as a harmful. So and we know that lead contamination is a very harmful thing that can happen to mankind. It can affect your health very badly. So primary pollutants, let's talk about in case here what they are. That is nitrogen dioxide, then you have volatile organics, sulfur dioxide, then you have small particulates, sand, dust, all those things, and carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide is about 91%, almost close to 50% of the pie, is showing that it is the air is emitted by uh, conserved by carbon monoxide. Then we have nitrogen dioxide and volatile organic, 14 and 13 respectively, and sulfur dioxide 16%. So, see, if you see here in the chart, the carbon monoxide is quite high, and carbon monoxide has a tendency, whenever we are a iron based blood component, right? So we have blood which contains iron. So carbon monoxide has a tendency of making a compound or bond with hemoglobin that is there in your blood. Hemoglobin is your blood, right? So it makes a bond with your hemoglobin better than the oxygen. So hemoglobin is your blood carries oxygen to various part of your body, to release energy to do make you do anything, any work, right? But carbon monoxide is has such a chemical bond that it's one oxide bond attaches with the hemoglobin, so better than the oxygen. So inhalation of carbon monoxide will lead to depletion of oxygen level in your body. Now this will cause, immediately, if you inhale a lot of carbon dioxide, it will cause symptoms like you will feel dizzy, you will feel nauseatic, and or you may fall off out of the vertigo, and you may die also. So there are many incidences of carbon monoxide toxication in areas where people are burning firewood and coal wood or coal at home for heating their houses, and closing all the doors and not letting fresh air to come in. So what happens in partial burning of these carbon based material will release carbon monoxide. And people have, it has been seen that there have been records, people have died in their sleep by inhaling the carbon monoxide, right? Then where they come from, where are the various pollutants come from? So the most of the carbon monoxide emission is coming from transportation. So whatever mode of transportation you are using, the fossil fuel you are using, it is coming from carbon monoxide is coming from transportation. Then nitrogen oxide are coming from stationary sources of fuel combustion, like thermal power station, right? So they are contributing to about quite a high number of combustion, as or pollutants in the air. Industrial processes is contributing to about 15%, and solid waste disposal is contributing to air pollution to about 2 to 5%, but that is also considered quite a damaging to air pollution contribution. Then other sources, other miscellaneous things are like what we do like day to day, and various human activities are other miscellaneous activities which is counted on, which comes up to 9%. Now sources of primary pollutants. Now primary pollutant uh, sources coming from like chemical, natural sources, let's volcanic, and then baking of sea, pollen, fire, forest fire, blowing, then you have dust storms, bacterial viruses in the air are air pollutants. Then you have combustion process, chemical process, nuclear atomic process, and roasting and heating, refining process, and mining and quarrying process also contributing to certain primary source of pollutants like quarrying, and they can release natural elements into the water body or your air as well. Now, secondary pollutants will react with one another with chemical, and secondary pollutant will generate. So what happens is like, mm, your vehicle giving out sulfur dioxide, your volcanic emission is also giving sulfur dioxide, nitric dioxide, nitric acid, all these things are coming out. But when they meet, they react with certain chemicals, with water and with each other, they come out to be, you know sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, then nitric acid, or they form in small droplets. But when they start precipitating, they form, they can cause acid rain. So atmospheric sulfuric acid is one of the example of secondary pollutant. So sulfur is coming out from your vehicle, nitrogen is coming out from your vehicle, from the partial burning of your coal, right? So when they react with water, they become sulfuric acid, and obviously water in the sense, in the form of cloud. So when the sulfur dioxide is there in the air, and it mixes with the cloud, that is the small droplets of moisture in the air, it will form small droplets of sulfuric acid, and when it precipitates, it will cause acid rain. Now, photochemical smog, noxious mixture of gases and particulates. It produces when strong light triggers photochemical reaction in the atmosphere. So there are some photochemicals in the atmosphere. So only when there's a sunlight reacting with them, they start working, and they start reacting with other compounds around, and they become a harmful substance, suspended in the air. A major component of photochemical smog is ozone. So ozone has its own layer where it is very useful, but when it comes to the ground level, it becomes a photochemical pollutant, where it starts reacting when sunlight falls on it. It starts reacting with other components at the ground level, and can cause a serious problem in various environmental aspects. Now, major pollutant produced by human activities are sulfur dioxide, like I've told you, or nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, right? Uh, then here we have volatile organic compound. They are important outdoor and air pollutants. In this field, they are often divided into separate categories like methane and non-methane categories. So methane is an extremely efficient greenhouse gas which contributes to enhance global warming, right? Now, other hydrocarbons that are volatile organic compounds are also significant greenhouse gases. Their role is to create ozone in a prolonged life of a methane in the atmosphere. So, other hydrocarbons can generate, help generating ozone, right? So, though the effect varies depend on local air, within the within this, the automatic compound that benzate turbulence is xylene are suspected in carcinogenic material which is there in the air. It can cause leukemia through prolonged exposure. Leukemia is like blood cancer. So there are one to three tuberculin, and which is another dangerous compound, which is most associated with industrial use. All right, butane. Now, particulate matters that are fine particulates or tiny particulates of solid or liquid suspended in the air. All right, they contribute to what you call greenhouse gases. They are source of particular matter can also be made by man-made or sources or natural sources, like dust storms can contribute to particulates in the air, whereas mining activity and quarrying for any mineral will lead to primary source of pollutant, but due to human activities, right? Averaged over the global anthropogenic aerosols, thus made by human activities, currently account for about 10% of the total amount of aerosols in our atmosphere. So, increased level of fine particulates in air are linked to health, right? And health hazards such as heart diseases, altered lung functions, and even lung cancers also. So, precedent free, radical are radicals that are connected to airborne fine particulates could cause cardiopulmonary diseases. There are certain precedent radical components that can cause cardiac as well as pulmonary diseases, cardiopulmonary diseases, right? And inhalation of toxic metals like lead, cadmium, or copper. Lead poisoning is very common. Cadmium is also a very dangerous poisoning that can happen. It is not only going to happen on through air, but lead, cadmium, and copper poisoning can happen through water sources also. Okay, because lead has a tendency of eventually coming into system. If you get your hair checked or get analyzed, you will find bars of various components which is there accumulated in your hair. It shows that which year you had what material, what type of material, whether your nutrition was good or not, or you had a toxic material during that time. So this type of test can be used to see whether whether you were in such a situation or a condition that you were inhaling the toxic matters or not. You can do that, right? That's an another way of finding out where, how, and places can affect your body. Okay, uh, many biologists are studying this, studying, taking various animals and also human matters also, right? Now we have chlorofluorocarbon, which is a very harmful uh, gas. It reacts with the ozone layer, which is a protective layer for earth, which protects earth from ultraviolet radiation penetrating and making the place more hotter, right? Then we have ammonia. Ammonia is another thing that is a highly toxic matter to any organisms. So it is emitted from agriculture processes. Ammonia is a compound with the formula of NH3. Right, so ammonia is NH3. It is normally encountered as a gas with the characteristics of pungent odor. It has a rotten egg like odor, ammonia. Okay, so ammonia is there, it's a natural thing, it is naturally occurring product, but it has a very bad smell. You can identify the smell of ammonia once you know it from a far off distance. Okay, now it is normally encountered as a gas which is a characteristics of a pungent odor, right? Now, ammonia contributes to significantly to neutralize needs of terrestrial organism by serving as prosecutor of foodstuff and fertilizers. So, who are producing foods stuff and and fertilizers? They are the uh, cardinal contributors to rise of ammonia in the atmosphere, right? So whether it can be either directly or it can be either indirectly. Though in wide sense, ammonia is both caustic as well as hazardous, right? It is a very caustic as well as hazardous element. Now, outdoors such as uh, odors like garbage, sewage, industrial processes will have a foul odor which can make you, very sick. Then you have radioactive pollutants coming from health and research centers, nuclear war, or natural process such as radioactive decay of a radon on an open field maybe, right? Then secondary pollutants include particular matter formed for gaseous primary gaseous primary pollutant. Now, compounds in photochemical smog, and smog is a kind of a air pollution, right? So is premature smog and fog classically be resulting as a large amount of burning in a area caused by mixture of smoke and sulfur dioxide. Modern smog does not use some of the coal, but from the vehicle and industrial emission that are acted on the atmosphere by light to form secondary pollutant, that is the combination with primary emission for photochemical smog, right? Then ground level ozone, that is O3, because it has one molecule free. So with O3 means their two hands are joined, and the third one is going to mix up wherever they are able to find another free element, right? So it can adjoin with the water, it can adjoin with your blood or any other matter, right? Now, as a key constituent of the atmosphere, uh, photochemical and chemical reaction involves its involve drive many of the chemical processes that occurs in the atmosphere by day and day night at normally high concentration, brought by human activities, largely the combination of the basically using fossil fuel. It is a pollutant, and a consumption of these uh, material can constitute to smog. Now, we have pan that is similar to that of a NOx and VOCs, right? What is NOx? Let's know about that. I think all of you must have got my lecture. Yes? No? Okay. Uh, Now let's talk about mobile source. It includes motor vehicles, marine vehicles, aircraft, any vehicle in that case. Then we have chemical contributors, that is dust, controlled by uh, agriculture and forestry ministries, or management controlled, or prescribed burning, a technique sometimes used in forest management, uh, then farming practices, restoring a gas, greenhouse gas amendment, etc., right? So the first is a natural part of both the forest and grassland ecology, and control the fire can be too large of for forest. So control during burning simulation, the germination of some of the desirable forest trees, like thus renewable forest, will be lost forever. Now, fumes from paint which comes up, like air spray, even the wall paint, varnish, and all those things, waste deposits and landfills, such as generating methane, butane, and other toxic matters, right? So they can contribute. to a large number of pollutants. Now, waste disposal on landfills, methane can, methane gas emission or generation can happen in the dump area. All right, so methane is not a toxic, however, it is highly flammable and may have explosive mixture, with air. Methane is also an asphoretic, and may displace oxygen in and close into its place. Now methane can displace oxygen, like we have a very few level of oxygen in the air left, and on top of that, this new technology comes into your place, and it says that it has less economic, or agricultural usage, as it is going to affect it. Why? Because exfoliation can cause suffocation and can result into oxygen concentration due to low, or due to displacement characteristic of a methane gas. Now, nuclear wars and toxic gas, and germ warfare are basically a new trend of waging a war against a nation, but it is also contributing to environmental disaster, right? So dust from natural source usually are land with little or no vegetation. All right. So methane emitted by digestion of food by animals, for example cattle, then you have uh, uh, yes, cattle basically predominantly. Radon gas from radioactive decay, radon gas, and with earth crust, radon is also colorless and odorless. So naturally occurring radioactive noble gases is also formed from decay of the rhodium. Now it is considered to be a health hazard, um, hazard, as radon gas from the natural source can accumulate in building, especially in a confined area such as the basement, and its secondary most frequent cause of lung cancer, and after that it can create a lot of lung cancer, as it is, that taking in tobacco products, like smoking in tobacco products like cigarette, can cause you lung cancer. Smoke and carbon monoxide from wildfire are also one of the sources of wildfire. Then then you have volcanic activities such as producer sulfur and chlorine and ash particulates, right? Now, effect of air pollutants. What are the effects of air pollutants? So it can cause global warming. It can, cause blood cancer, leukemia, or it can cause um, human loss to life, like hemoglobin intoxication, that what happens in carbon monoxide, right? So with this we are coming to a conclusion that any carbon emission into the atmosphere will make an effect of on your health, in on human health as well as an organism health, and reduction in any of the aspect of natural phenomena will affect human eventually, right? Then how do we control it? How do we control particulates? How do we control electrostatic particulates in the air? Then you have particulates that is scrubbed off from doing certain activities. How do you control it? So we want to see that how do we control pollution uh, activities, right? Now, mechanical collectors like dust, cyclone, multi-cyclone, cyclone spread is a method of removing particular form of air or gas or water out of the use of without using it filter through the vortex separation. So rotational effect of the gravity are used to separate mixtures of solid and fluid. A high speed rotating air uh, follows and establishes within a cylindrical or conical container uh, called cyclone, right? So air flow in a spiral pattern can also take up the